I'm Jagadish. I'm the director of MIDAS, the Michigan Institute for Data and AI in Society. And I'm going to just speak for a couple of minutes about MIDAS broadly and then hand it off to Jing Liu and Shahana Chumki to tell you more details about the PODS funding program. Let me make sure I'm advancing things correctly. Right. So the MIDAS mission is in three parts, really. Promote achievement in data science and AI, enable transformative use in a wide range of research disciplines, and achieving long-lasting societal and scientific impact. And we do this by means of three different prongs of activities. Training activities, which today is not about, but is something that you should know about. We have a strong postdoctoral program, and some of you have scholars in those programs. If you don't, you should look at it. We have training programs in the summer for people to develop skills in data science and AI. And these are typically week-long type efforts. So you take a week off your summer or have people in your lab who might benefit from this. And then we have a research prong, which we'll say much more about today, which is trying to promote interdisciplinary research and widespread adoption of cutting-edge data science and AI. And then finally, we help with collaborations in a number of different ways. And again, today I'm not going to say much more about that. Our community our community of affiliates is distributed across pretty much every discipline. We have affiliates from every discipline on the Ann Arbor, every unit, every school and college on the Ann Arbor campus of the University of Michigan, and several units from Flint and Dearborn. And we have a total of something shy of 600, 580 or so affiliates. And we track our collaboration network, and that's growing. In terms of activities not related to PODS that I want to make sure while you're here to tell you about, we are starting in 2 weeks a new series of public-facing seminars. So this is, we're calling it Data and AI in Society Lecture Series. And this is going to be on the last Thursday of every month. And the first one is on February 27th, I believe in this building in Forum Hall, just a couple of doors down. And it's by Kentaro Toyama, who's going to talk about consciousness and AI. Can AI be conscious, and why does it matter what the answer to that question is? These are meant to be talks that are accessible to the public and shouldn't require any specific subject knowledge to follow, but asking provocative questions, and hopefully you'll find it interesting and something that feeds your brain from a different perspective. Also, we have an AI in Science and Engineering Symposium. We had one last year, and we have the one this year is on March 18th and 19th. The schedule is more or less set, and you will find it on our website. We have a bunch of cool speakers and and actually a lot of stuff about how people are adopting AI in terms of enhancing your own creativity and your own research output across disciplines. That's sort of the theme of that seminar. And I mentioned already summer academies and workshops. We just got a schedule up here. And this is just a small sampling of the activities that we have. We have many more. Everything's on the website, but I just wanted to highlight a couple before we get into this. In terms of research, one thing that we have been doing is promoting conversations in terms of a group of faculty with somewhat similar interests, talking about what they're doing with data science and AI, and what MIDAS could do to help them do more with data science and AI. Right? It's all of the above. Sometimes these things lead to collaborations or subgroups that choose to collaborate. Sometimes these things lead to us in MIDAS doing things that might help some segment of campus in something that they want to do. And so if this is something that you think that you might be interested in, or you think that there's a group of faculty that we should do it with, do tell us, and this is something that we'll do. Finally, want to turn to the PODS program, which is what today's meeting is primarily about. And I'm going to hand off to Jing Liu, the Executive Director of MIDAS, to tell you a little bit about the PODS program. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to take over from here, tell you guys a little bit about the background of the PODS program and also the scientific scope. All right, so yeah, so we've had this program actually since 2016. It took various forms in the past 8 or 9 years or so, but really the scientific scope or the purpose really is to enable, so it really is to enable groundbreaking research, enable innovative ideas, enable collaboration, especially across disciplines, especially between the data and AI methodologists and also the domain, I would say, researchers who are end users of data and AI. And also because these are seed grants, we really look at the potential of the projects that we support so that we consider this as our investment in the researchers and their ideas and hopefully make them big. One thing that I want to point out is that we really don't want to just be a funding agency, in that we don't want to just give you the money and then you go off and do your research. We really want to keep in touch and get to know how things are going, get to know how we can provide continued support, how we can connect you with more collaborators and resources. And so basically, we are funding your research, but we also would like to be a collaborator in a sort of a very broad sense. Okay, so yeah, so in the past, what we have done in, I would say, since 2016, we have awarded about $13 million of grants and funded 94 projects, actually. And these, in turn, the project teams have in turn brought back many externally funded projects, and with external funding totaling more than $130 million. And this actually is hopefully an underestimate, because the projects that we funded in the past couple of years, they're still developing, and they're still really in the preliminary shape. I want to just highlight a few projects and give you a sense of sort of the follow-up successes. So let me start with, so Dr. Nancy Fleischer in the School of Public Health, she is one of the awardees of our actually COVID round of PODS awards. And so she, using ours as the springboard, she was able to build a very comprehensive monitoring system for the state of Michigan, and got a lot of funding afterwards, not only to support the state of Michigan, but also to advance the research of epidemiology. We also have Dr. Ongshen Biang and Raid El-Kantar from Industrial and Operations Engineering, and their PODS proposal was about building smart energy grids using novel data science methods and massive amounts of data. And now they have already got additional awards from Ford Motor Company and also NSF to continue their work. So this is, the next one is really a multi-departmental collaboration, really with six investigators coming from, I think, like six departments, actually. And they were building some really advanced machine learning models to predict cancer occurrence and cancer recurrence and the causes of the recurrence. And so they still are, I would say they right afterwards, they actually, right after they finished our projects, they got awarded a Keck Foundation grant, and they are now pursuing multiple NIH grants as well. And so the last example I want to give is Kevin Stange and Allison Flaster in the social science domain. The project we funded them to do was really to using machine learning methods to classify undergraduate course-taking and the course-taking sequences and why students chose different types of courses. And they were using, I think, hundreds of thousands of student data. And now this has become a major effort funded by the Department of Education. So this year, we actually expanded our PODS program quite a bit. And I want to tell you about the 3 scientific tracks. So track number 1 is our usual track. It's really data science and AI methodology development, answering significant domain research questions with novel data science and AI approaches. We discourage I would say we discourage applications that use very traditional methods, but we look for novel ideas, novel approaches, tackling novel questions that are not previously possible. So basically, innovation is a big thing. We also support technical solutions to improve the rigor, reproducibility, and the trustworthiness of research, and also improving research ecosystem through the development of major data sets, AI tools, and so forth. So this track is our usual track, but this year the only exception is that we have a new health science track, which I'll talk about in a second. So all health science related methodology development, domain research, investigation, and so forth, all belong to track 3 now. So track 2 is a track actually funded by Microsoft. So we started this collaboration last year with Microsoft. They are, as you know, they're really one of the biggest AI developers in the world, but they actually want to invest in understanding the perspective of academic researchers in AI policy, regulation, what to anticipate for novel or upcoming AI systems, and what kind of policy and regulation, auditing strategies, conformance strategies they need to think about for novel AI systems, and also AI systems that are applied to critical domains like health, education, legal system, and all those. They also look for to support research to understand the impact of AI on various aspects of society, and also developing training for researchers to use AI responsibly. So last year, with their funding, and also they provide computing credits too, in addition to the cash that they give to the research teams. And so last year we funded 4 projects under this track, and I'm putting these 4 up there so you can see sort of the diversity of the projects that Microsoft is willing to fund. Actually, if you read our call for proposals, it's quite wide, and they're very interested in hearing the ideas from the researchers and be very open-minded about what is considered important research topic. So this is track 2. So track 3 is new this year. Last year, we started a collaboration with IHPI on very specifically on the AI policy, the policy and regulation of health AI. So this year, with collaboration with MICHR, we actually expanded our effort with MICHR, IHPI, and MIDAS alone into a completely sort of standalone health science and health policy track. So for this track, we will fund 3 types of proposals. One is the AI policy and regulation governance applied to healthcare. One is our traditional healthcare focus, which is data science and AI methodology development with significant implications for healthcare research, addressing biomedical and healthcare questions with data science and AI methods, and all these kind of traditional things that really are the same with track 1, except that all the application domains should be related to biomedical, healthcare, clinical, population health, and so forth. And then the new one this year really is about the so-called AI innovation in clinical and translational sciences. And so this, our MICHR colleagues who will join us later on Zoom to answer questions will want to make it really clear that this is not healthcare research itself, but it's research to enhance healthcare research methods to help researchers do better research, methods to better facilitate patient participation, and so this kind of thing. With this, I'm gonna hand this over to Shahana, our research manager, for more detailed instructions about this year's PODS.
All right, thank you, Jing. So as she mentioned, my name is Shahana. I'm the research manager here at MIDAS. And I'm going to go over the details and the technicalities regarding to the PODS application process. So how do you become a PODS awardee? So let's go over the award information in and of itself. So PODS awards are a duration of 12 to 18 months, and they're capped at $70K. And so for tracks 1 and 3, there are 2 funding models. So 1, if you are requesting funding up to $30,000, MIDAS and our program partners will provide 100% of the funding, and there's no cost sharing involved. Method 2 is if you're requesting funding between $30,000 to $70,000, your unit provides 50% of the cost share above the first $30,000 in a 1-to-1 ratio. So what does that mean? For example, if your budget requested $70K, that means the PODS programs will provide the first $30,000, And for the remaining 40, the PODS program will provide 20, and then your departmental unit will provide the rest. So that's what we mean by the 1-to-1 ratio sharing. And if you're going for track 2, offered by Microsoft, you can request, again, up to $70,000, but there is no cost sharing requirement for this particular track. And again, I'd just like to point out that the Microsoft Azure competing credits are also available on this track. So what are we looking for in terms of research impact? One is follow-on expansion. So do you have plans, and what are your plans for growth and in terms of external grant applications within 1 year of receiving the PODS funding? What are the future impacts of your proposal and your project? Can you articulate the big implications it can have on the domain, on the research field, on the methodology field, or if it's like a topic of national or regional priority? Explaining that is what we're also looking for. And then finally, what is the impact for your project have on the outcomes on the U of M research community and the research fabric? Can this new methodology or this innovative idea be broadened at the U of M research level? So those are the 3 things that we're looking for in terms of research impact. What we really discourage is incremental research. And as Jing mentioned earlier, like the applications of, standard data science or AI methodologies to a domain research question. So in other words, lack of innovation or significance on how a domain research question is being addressed is what we really discourage. So as she mentioned, innovation is key. So that was research impact in the broad sense within your PODS packages. And what does eligibility now look like? So PIs and co-PIs should be U of M researchers. And researchers can be from the various U of M campuses, Ann Arbor, Dearborn, or Flint, who are eligible for federal grant funding. And so that means if you were a co-PI or a PI that was awarded a MIDAS grant after May 2023, unfortunately, you are ineligible, and you can only participate as a PI or a co-PI on 1 proposal. Additionally, track 3 has a bit of a stipulation where if you are funded by the Institute for Health Policy and Innovation, where your research is focusing on AI and policy and governance within the healthcare setting, 1 co-PI or PI has to be an IHPI member. And the biggest eligibility requirement is that we want all our PODS awardees to be MIDAS affiliates, but this is a very easy task. You could just click on this link, which, again, I will share the presentations with all of our attendees today, so there are a lot of links embedded in this PowerPoint, but you can also visit our website and just fill out a form on how to become a MIDAS affiliate, and that is it. So that's what we are looking for in terms of eligibility. As you're preparing your PODS application, what are evaluators and reviewers going to look for? Again, innovative concepts and approaches in terms of the protocol and the technologies you may use, the significance of your research, and how it fits within the various tracks and their subtracks. And really importantly, are you establishing new collaboration, especially cross departments and cross disciplines, to grow this research that has feasibility and impact on the bigger U of M ecosystem, research ecosystem? And most importantly, what's the potential for expansion? Whether are you looking at external grant funding a year out of PODS? Are you looking at commercialization? Are you looking at startups? Are you looking at intellectual property licenses? So those are the things that reviewers will evaluate as they're going through your packages. So now let's talk about what are the actual components of the PODS application process. So the first is the letter of intent. And the letter is not evaluated during the full proposal process. The purpose of the letter is to provide and to confirm eligibility and how your proposed research fits within the various tracks. And this is a time that researchers can use to get early feedback, to avoid common pitfalls as they're preparing their packages, and for MIDAS to plan for reviewer assignments. The full proposal has a lot in terms of components. So we have the abstract, which is 300 words, your 6-page project description, and it's similar to what other seed funding or grant funding asks for, where we look for, specific aims, research questions, background, significance, innovation, and your methods. The next is your transition plan, which is half a page. And this should really describe your strategy for follow-on funding and activities, such as, again, external grants, further research plans, data products, or commercialization. There is the statement of societal impact. Again, that's also half a page. And that really looks at how you talk about the project benefiting society as a whole, benefiting the U of M research ecosystem as a whole. And this also gives you time to talk about potential caveats or pitfalls and your risk mitigations with those pitfalls and caveats. And then, references, we have no limits, regular bio sketch using NSF or NIH format. We require a budget and a budget justification. Again, MIDAS has an available template to use for PODS, which you can find here or on the website. And if applicable, again, because there are 2 different funding levels, especially with tracks 1 and 3, proof of cost sharing. And if required, if you are going to use human subjects or biospecimens, status of your IRB application or your CBR application. So now that you know the application components, we're going to go over some important dates to remember. So right now, obviously, we are today here, February 11th, PODS Town Hall. Thank you for joining us. And next, on April 4th, 2025, is when those letters of intent are due. And again, the letter is a way for you to get early feedback, confirm your eligibility, and to see where you fit best within the track funding. On May 9th is when the full proposals are due. And so, again, the submission forms for the full proposals and the letters of intent can be found on our website and embedded within this PowerPoint. And so once you've submitted your full proposal, it'll take about, a month-ish, 2-month-ish to review, and then awards should be announced late June, and then your projects will start the 1st of August. And so that is the timeline of the PODS application process right now. These important dates, eligibility requirements, the application components, and more detailed descriptions of the tracks, again, can be found on our website. And so, as I mentioned, how these are really great tools for ways MIDAS can help you. Visit our website and the request for proposal section. You can contact me at midas-research@umich.edu for any questions or concerns you may have after the PODS Town Hall. And what's really cool is that once you're awarded PODS funding, MIDAS can also help facilitate research assistance. So we are also running this program called the Faculty Student Research Connections. And so what it does is that it connects MIDAS affiliate faculty who have a research and they want student involvement with students who are looking for research experience that contain big data, data science, AI methodologies, and we pair them together. So it's a really nice program to utilize if and when you get your PODS awards. We also have our, as Jag mentioned earlier, these faculty research connection meetings under the series where we get together individuals with like-minded interests or even cross-sector interests. And if you have any ideas of who you'd like to get in a room and chat with for your research ideas, just let us know because these are always developing and we hold them monthly. And then Jag mentioned earlier that we have our AI in Science and Engineering Symposium, and that falls under the mini symposia series. So there are also ideas that you can submit here, or you can talk to individuals who are at these mini symposias to gain more impact on your research. All right, so with that, we went really fast, which is okay. We can start off with a couple of the Q&A. So do you have any questions for us?
Hi, Linja from Computer Science. So I have two projects that I think fit into the scope pretty well, but they're all sensitive keywords in this time period of time. One is actually a collaboration with School of Sustainability on climate change using AI and data science. Obviously, with the new sort of administration, I don't know climate change kind of project can be funded anymore from an NSF perspective, but does that actually affect the sort of review process for this particular funding? Okay, and the second keyword actually, unfortunately I'm touching all the buttons here. My second piece of work actually was a collaboration with Microsoft on using AI for hate speech detection. That's also something that's like, I don't really know if this is a like hot button topic. So just curious about you guys' thoughts.
Hi, Lingja. I think these are weird times, and there are a lot of unknowns. As far as I know, firstly, this is not something that involves the federal government or any external agency in any way, right? Except for some of the tracks where we have funding from others, but even there, it's Microsoft's the only external partner. Others are internal partners that we're working with. So there are no rules, no executive orders that apply to us directly. I think that if anything, it'll be a very second order type of thing. And as far as I know, we are not at anywhere close to that in terms of what we do with respect to our research. So no, we're not going to apply any tests of this word must be present or this word must be absent.
Hi, Thomas Stern from the School of Dentistry. So first question is, I assume that 6 pages, I can feel a bit more than what I can do with $30,000, right? So you probably want to hear a bit more than just the immediate, right? So you want to hear like a plan for like 5 years or something? Like what's the scope that you want to know about?
So the six pages is really the sort of a conventional, fairly, I would say fairly conventional research plan. Your motivation, your methodology, any preliminary data, what kind of data you're using, feasibility, promise of success, all those kind of things. So the review categories that Shahana mentioned, most of those will need to be in the research plan. We do have a half-page transition plan. That's where you show your concrete next steps. So, big picture, big vision, that needs to be in the 6-page. It's not a very long proposal, and so it's really a balance that we try to strike between asking people to write a lot, right, and then giving people enough space to actually clearly express their vision and their main ideas.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, maybe I have a question. Oh, this is Lima from the Computer Science department. I have a question. So I think in your presentation you mentioned you want to sort of like encourage collaboration between different departments, domains, and so on, right? So I wonder how does that reflect into the review criteria, especially the proposal itself? In a sense, that what do you expect to see in the proposal in that aspect? Do you see have plans on how different departments working together, how to expand on that, how that essentially fit into the criteria essentially?
So I'll answer this one. And so yes, we should be able to see that in your research plan and also your delineation of the different responsibilities of the collaborators on the grant, right? So on the grant, let's say if you collaborate with somebody, right, in the medical school, I'm just giving an example, right? What exactly is your role? What exactly is your collaborator's role? Is this a new collaboration? Is this an existing collaboration? These are the things that that you should make clear in your application for us to see. Does it? So it does matter. We encourage collaboration, but we especially encourage new collaboration that that promises the development of new ideas and so forth, right? So if you and your collaborator have been working together for 10 years, right, so that's really not new anymore, right? And so, and versus someone who says, I just found a new collaborator in this past year, we're developing this new direction, that would be viewed more favorably.
Thank you. Vladimir Dworkin, electrical engineering. I have a follow-up question, actually. I was also thinking in terms of collaborations, but then is it a good idea to go as co-PIs with your collaborators, so it's more like a single PI call?
So, I mean, if I think that having collaborators as co-PIs is definitely a plus. It's not required, but it's a plus.
So our IHPI and our MICHR, the directors for both of those institutes were going to log on at 1:30, but we are a bit early. So do you have any other questions regarding in terms of application process, application details?
Maybe you mentioned this before, but a little bit more about maybe what goes into the letter of intent.
Yeah, I can answer that question. So the letter of intent, it's really short. It's just one-page PDF, and it talks about what your proposed research is in like a very abstract form, like very short, concise, and it talks about, this is my research, this is the funding track that I'm hoping to apply under, and these are my co-collaborators. It just lists out a lot of the just really overhead details of what you plan to submit within the full proposal section. And again, within the letter of intent, you can also view it on the website to see what components need to be added within the form. I think, oh, Jing wants to add more.
Okay, I just want to add a couple things, which is, one is we use these letters to check eligibility, right? And so, for example, you apply for an healthcare policy AI sort of grant, and there needs to be at least one PI or co-PI who is an IHPI member, and then we can check, oh, neither of you guys are, and then you need to figure out, a different path. So we also check with the general fit of the research idea. We've definitely had applications last year that went for the Microsoft track. We would look at this and also consult with Microsoft, and they say, well, this actually is out of scope. then we can use the 1 month time between the letter of intent and the full proposal to come back to the reviewer, to the applicant and say, this actually doesn't fit with the Microsoft track. You can go with a different track, but you need to be prepared to provide cost share. So these are the things that we do even before your full proposals are in, just to save everybody's time, really.
About the cost share, is that something we have to discuss with the department beforehand, like our department?
Yes, because if you are requesting 30 to 70K with the track 1 and 3, there has to be an intent of cost share. Where the cost share is the source, that is up to your discretion, but there has to be a cost sharing unit.
So just to add a little more detail to that, the two most common places that you get cost share, you could do it yourself from accounts that you have, like a research incentive account or that kind of thing, or you could have a source like a department or for college help with that. Which it is doesn't matter as far as we are concerned. Also, you don't need to have proof of that at the time of your grant application. Okay, you do need to have worked it out, because it doesn't make sense for you to apply for something if you're not going to be able to meet the cost share afterwards. So it's bad all around. So we ask you for your own statement of intent and understanding, but not a full written proof at that time.
One common question that I'm getting as we led up to a lot of the PODS town hall is like, if you have a trainee, a postdoc, or if you are a postdoc, a common question is, can the trainee serve as a PI or co-PI on the PODS grant? To be eligible, you have to be a faculty member here at U of M that can go for federal funding grants. So your trainees, or if you are a trainee, have the opportunity to be co-Is on said grants, but not co-PIs or PIs. That was a common question I got a lot. Also, another question that I hope to answer is like, what if you served as a co-I on a previous PODS grant? That means you are still eligible to serve as a co-PI on an upcoming grant, because in the other aspect, you served as a consultant of sort. Any other questions? Okay, so again, I think if you have any more, please feel to contact the team at MIDAS-research@umich.edu. The website is the great source of information in terms of what to go in the request for proposals. And with that, any words, Jing or Jag?
So as Jag and Shahana both mentioned, we have been doing this kind of monthly faculty research connection / social events. These have been always in person. And a main reason is that MIDAS has really like 580 faculty affiliates now, but they're scattered all over the campus. So it's really hard for them to get to know each other. And so we are using these kind of monthly connections, social events to let people get to know each other. So today's event, even though like the three of us were talking most of the time, actually we were trying to make this into the February research connection / social event for the attendees as well. It's not really obvious, and because this is like, there's such a big focus on PODS, and this becomes a more sort of I would say, a less interactive event than usually what these events look like. So we do have some time. So if anyone wants to stay behind and chat, please do so. And then if anyone wants to share anything about your research or the kind of collaborators that you want to seek, please also feel free. And so that's the last thing I wanted to.
I also asked IHPI and MICHR to join early. So if you also want to wait and chat with them on the Zoom, please feel free to stay. Alrighty, so luckily our IHPI and our MICHR representatives are here. Hi, John. Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So I am going to quickly put you guys on the screen. Just bear with me a bit. So let's do that. Sorry. Okay, so give me 1 second. I wish I had. That goes that way? Why isn't it?
I don't see it. The mouse is going over there. Oh,
It's behind the thing. That's full. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna. Ugh. How do I get out of full screen? This is so annoying. Oh, I see it. Yep. I'm just gonna get out of that. Okay, there we go. So, I'm just gonna move like so. Perfect. All right. All right, I'm just gonna quickly let John and Jim introduce themselves, and then we can get started on the Q&A specifically for Track 3, IHPI, and MICHR. Go ahead, guys.
Hi, I'm John Ianian. I'm the director of the Institute for Healthcare Policy and Innovation. I'm a physician and faculty member at the Med School and the School of Public Health and the Ford School of Public Policy.
Hi, I'm Jim Azadix. I'm the program director for MICHR's informatics program. MICHR is the home of our Clinical and Translational Science Award with the NIH. I work closely with David Hanauer. He may be able to join us. I'm not sure, but at any rate, David is the faculty lead for the informatics program too.
So, Jim, I'm going to ask you to actually take time and really talk about the MICHR's goal with your specific subtrack within track 3 and really talk about the innovations of AI in the science of the sciences.
Sure. So this is something new we're trying. This is the first engagement with MIDAS. And so the NIH has redirected MICHR's focus in a couple of different ways. One is really focusing on the clinical and translational science, which is really the science of science, trying to improve the methods and the process of the whole the clinical translational pipeline. And so previously our focus was on clinical and translational research, which was focusing more on the outcomes, the treatments and the outcomes for patients. So this is a big shift for us. And then also with the NIH, we'd like the informatics specifically to focus on recently is AI and data science. So we're kind of combining those two new foci into one for these pilot programs with MIDAS. So it's really something new we're trying. We're looking for something, some innovation, creativity with these proposals. And again, it's focusing on the process, the pipeline of clinical and translational science, not necessarily the outcomes for patients, but that the process and methodologies. Does that answer your question?
Yes. John, could you also take time to talk about IHPI's focus for these tracks?
Sure. So this is the second year that we're partnering with MIDAS on the PODS grant program. And last year we funded one grant jointly, and this year we're looking to fund more. So we're particularly interested in the role of artificial intelligence and how it's being used in health policy and healthcare delivery. And particularly in grants that look at AI in how it's being used in healthcare systems around access to care and improving healthcare outcome, particularly issues around governance and policy applications of healthcare. And that could apply in healthcare systems, but also in the ways that healthcare payers, insurers, for example, are using it. We know AI is being used a lot in prior authorization decisions around medical procedures and the use of expensive healthcare drugs and devices. We are interested in understanding patient perspectives and the role of trust in AI, how it's being applied to healthcare decision-making in clinical settings and potential liability issues. We're interested in how AI is being used in data sharing and research applications, and the policy and governance decisions around generative AI applications in healthcare. And then more broad governance decisions at the local, regional, and national levels. And then finally, how do we understand how AI is being used in an equitable, effective, and fair way? And what sort of strategies do we have for auditing how those AI applications are being used? So, thinking more about those broader policy and governance issues in AI, with IHPI being a policy-focused institute, that's where our particular areas of emphasis will be directed.
So I'm going to open up the floor to the audience now to ask you guys questions. Do you guys have any questions for John or Jim? Yes, we do. 1 second.
So in track 3, is there any room for projects that are directly related to clinical and translational research and not the science of science?
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah. So the short answer would be it depends. I think you could still propose a project that is the traditional clinical and translational research, but there would have to be some additional aspect of that proposal that does address the science of science that we're looking for. Otherwise, it would not be funded.
I'll add here that in track 3, what Jim just said applies to projects that are jointly funded by MICHR and MIDAS. And MIDAS does have, MIDAS alone will consider the kind of straight up clinical translational research that does not speak to the science of science, but understand that the number of proposals that we can fund in straight up research is much less than the total number of track 3, right?
Yeah, thanks. But I'm wondering in the track 3, science of science, because I do have some projects in I'm from computer science, right? I do have some projects in collaboration with the health departments. But I'm wondering whether you could give some examples of the science of science projects you funded or interested in the past, so that I can sort of see what kind of flavor you are looking for.
Sure. I think let's see. So you might want to focus on optimizing research workflows, projects that propose innovative solutions to identify bottlenecks in research workflows and offer an AI-driven solution for their optimization. Another example is synthetic data applications. The use of synthetic data to demonstrate novel methodologies, providing scalable solutions that address privacy concerns related to real-world healthcare data sets. Another example is patient and participant engagement, innovative approaches that leverage AI to recruit, retain, and engage research participants more effectively. An example of that specifically would be an AI-driven platform that platforms that personalize outreach or informed consent procedures. So those are just a few examples, but again, those are examples that's we're looking for innovation and creativity in these proposals. So.
John, could you also give an example of the flavors that you're looking for too with IHPI?
Sure. I mean, I think, understanding patient perspectives on sort of trustworthy uses of AI in sort of, applications in research or in policymaking related to sort of, say, resource allocation in health systems or insurance plans, would be an example, in our case, of a policy application.
Okay, do we have any remaining questions? Guess not. Well, thank you, John and Jim, for joining us for this town hall. And again, as I mentioned, please reach out to midas-research@umich.edu if you have any questions. And if you have any particular questions about the IHPI and MICHR tracks, John and Jim will also be working with us to help clarify said questions. Any final remarks, guys?
Just that we look forward to considering the proposals.
Yeah, we're looking forward to viewing those. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys joining us.
Sure.
Great. Take care. Bye.
It's just me now. All righty. Well, thank you again. I appreciate you guys sitting here waiting for John and Jim. I'm really happy that they were joining. Like, yeah, we can join right now. So yeah, feel free to grab more food because that's a lot of food that's left. So get some cookies, more drinks, more sandwiches, more salads. And thank you again. Oh, I forgot this was here. Hello.